Let me introduce you to someone. Nice. Don't worry, you look good. Everything is perfect. And this is somebody who will not only just change the way how you think about money, he will inspire you with his heart. I know Rennie Gabriel from a weekly networking event that I go with Michael Whitehouse, and that's where I met him. And I said, whenever he spoke his 1 minute, I would be like in totally awe. And I would probably, this is a 5-day event because of Rennie. I wanted to have a whole day about money where Rennie can come and talk. I am not joking. So what caught my attention was his generosity. He donates. Good Lord, he donates 100% of his book, of his training money, of his coaching, all the profits, 100% of the profits, they go to two amazing charities. One of them rescues dogs, and that's another thing that caught my attention. I love dogs. I have worked with several dog rescues when I ran my doggy daycare. And the other one is for post 911 soldiers dealing with PTSD. That's a good cause. As a dog lover and a previous rescue volunteer, this pretty much resonated with me. Rennie is the best-selling author of Wealth on Any Income. It's translated to 8 different languages. He went from being broke when he was 50 years old to multi-millionaire within a few years. He earned $5,000 a month at one point, and believe it or not, he failed high school math. I didn't want to say that, but you told me, so I had to tell people. Because I want to tell people that everything is possible, right? But he cracked the code by learning 3 secrets of how to be wealthy. And now he's going to tell you about 5 things which keep you broke. Listen to it carefully, see what you do. And if you do one of those 5 things, then I think you should totally stop. Sometimes we do things that we don't even know. So stories and beliefs that trap people in financial struggles. He is going to break down into how to overcome them and how to take care of your wealth building journey. So let's give Rennie one big virtual hug and go, Rennie.
Thank you, Summer. Thank you for the introduction. It's even better than the way I wrote it. Now, I take it I've got permission to share the screen?
Absolutely, Rennie. Go ahead.
Okay. So, we're going to talk about the 5 things that keep you broke. And, we're going to spend 18 minutes together. Like Summer said, I donate 100% of the profits from the work I do to charities. They're primarily animal and veteran charities. Now, let me ask you this. If you had $2 million, I got to move something that's in my way here and got it. There we go. That's not it.
That's what you just said. If you had 2 extra millions.
Anyway, if you had an extra $2 million, would you feel that it would be easier to donate to the causes that are important to you? You put a yes or no in the chat box. And now I can't even find the chat box. Summer, what does it say in the chat box?
I said probably not, but other people are saying yes, for sure, probably yes. Okay, for sure, good. Yes, of course, yes. I think you have to be able to donate whether you have a little or a lot. Yes. But when I said probably not, I meant not the whole 2 millions, because I might want to keep a little bit of it for my sustenance.
Yeah, the more that you have, the more you can donate if you're so inclined. And as Summer said, at age 50, I was broke. I'd had 2 divorces, a business failure, and I started over from scratch. And it wasn't always that I could donate so much money. At one point in time, I had to collect soda bottles and cans to get the grocery money to buy food for my family. So I know what it's like to have no money. My book, Wealth on Any Income, I donate 100% of the profits to charity. And the first third of it is the emotional components that are in the way of our creating wealth or handling money effectively. And the latter 2/3 are the tips and techniques. And that's a free gift for participating in this symposium. If you donate $25 to Shelter to Soldier, which has a link at the top of my homepage on Wealth on Any Income, you get a free copy of Wealth Attitudes of the Wealthy. I'll talk a lot more about attitudes in 5 things that keep you broke. Now, I don't mean to be crass, but I don't need your money. And the reason for it is I've got triple net leases that provide an income, apartment buildings, limited partnerships. I do business financing, angel investing. I have oil and gas investments, and I have trust deeds. So my income doesn't come from selling programs or selling books. And that's why I can donate 100% of the profits. So we're going to spend about 18 minutes. I am talking fast because I do have a lot of ground to cover. But the passive income from rents alone is $40,000 a month. And this was produced while I was earning, like Summer said, $5,000 a month. You don't need to be making a lot of money to create wealth. So let me tell you this. The first thing is to know how to listen to familiar information. And a lot of people have said the same things today about paying yourself first. Well, that concept is 5,000 years old. And there's 2 ways we can listen to something we already know or have already heard. One of them is you make statements like, I know that. That's not new to me. I've heard that before. That will not produce results in your life. Wealthy people listen differently to familiar information, and they do that by asking questions. And how do those questions start? Now, since we don't have a lot of time, rather than having you tell me what those questions might start with, I'll tell you they start with words like what? Like, what will I do with the money? Or where will I put it? Or when will I start? Or how do I even begin? Or who can help me with this? These are the words you probably learned in elementary school if you write an article. These are the questions to answer when you write an article. A lot of times people say, oh yeah, and why? No, why is not a question to ask if you're trying to move forward, because any answer you get to a why question will not necessarily move you forward. Like, why do I have clients who are jerks? Any answer could be a good one, like, because you're a jerk. So you don't waste your time with why questions. Summer mentioned there are 3 secrets to the wealthy. We're going to spend the most time on attitude. That's the 5 things that keep you broke. Wealthy people have a different attitude than most. There are forms that wealthy people use. I'll touch on those in the presentation. And there are investments that the wealthy make. And I listed some of them that I have. So let's get to the first thing that keeps you broke. I'll call that myth number 1. The more money you earn, the more wealth you create. And it was Janet that covered this. It's not about how much money you're making. It's what you're doing with it. As an example, I started my career as a school teacher in 1972. So that gives you an idea that I am very old. So I've got a lot of experience. I was making $6,000 per year as a school teacher and short about $100 a month. Well, I realized that wasn't going to work for my family, so I started earning more money. I went into sales, and by 1992, 20 years later, I'm earning over $100,000 a year. And now I'm short $2,000 a month. Making more money was not the answer for me. What I had to recognize is I had to deal with the expenses first and growing my income second. So myth number 2, you should pay off credit cards before you invest. You all know credit card debt does not support you, but you may not realize that's not necessarily the thing to focus on if you're trying to create wealth. And at age 50, I looked at having 15 years to turn my life around. I had to become drastic. And focusing on paying off credit card debts was not going to be the answer. And I'll give you an example. The most important wealth building concept for the last 5,000 years, several people have said it, that's to pay yourself first. I was earning $5,000 a month. I set aside 10%. That's $500 a month. I did that for 3 years. I had $18,000. I could have paid off my credit card debt, but instead I had the opportunity to buy a 3-unit property with someone else, and that $18,000 turned into $125,000. If I'd have paid off my credit card debt, I'd have had no debt. But I decided I'd rather have a 594% return on that $18,000 instead of having no debt. So you may want to be in the same situation. Let me give you another example. You need a good credit score to create wealth. Another myth. I didn't have good credit at age 50 because I'd had the divorces, I had a business failure, I had credit card debt. Okay, did not have a good credit score. So what's the answer to that? Other people's credit. I'll talk about a 3-unit building that we purchased. I'll give you more details later. But my wife and this realtor had good credit. They qualified for the mortgage. The bank added me on. They didn't care about me because my credit was worthless. Myth number 4. It takes money, generally I mean your money, to make money. No. This is the 3-unit property that started my purchase of investing in real estate. In the next 5 years, we went from this 3 units to 47 more units. And I did that by using other people's credit and other people's money. I only had $18,000 to make a down payment on this house, but the down payment was $72,000. That means with my $18,000, I only had 25%. The 75% came from 2 others. This is using other people's money. Myth number 5, wasting small amounts of money is not important. No, wasting small amounts of money can hurt you. And it was Janet who talked about $5.60 or $6 and change that you could spend daily at Starbucks or whatever it was. That small amount of money can create huge amounts for you, as she illustrated. But I'll give you the story of 2 attorneys, a husband and wife. The husband was the only one actually working, earning $180,000. Now, that might sound like a lot, but recognize this was 30 years ago when that was a lot of money. Well, the expenses were $192,000. That means he was short $12,000 a year, and he was actually short $12,000 to pay his income taxes. So I said, okay, let's use this form and figure out where your money's going. And one of the things that stands out to me was meals out. I said, just guess what you're spending in all these categories. He said, oh, we probably spend $600 a month eating out. Again, this is 30 years ago. Well, I had him use another form that I created to track money. And there are hundreds, literally hundreds of apps you could get on your phone to track your money. This is just a simple paper thing. You could create an Excel sheet and carry it on your phone. And I asked him to track his money for 6 weeks. Then we'd get back together and see where the money was really going. He was resistant, didn't want to do it. I said, it's only 6 weeks. He did do it. 6 weeks, we got back together and we tried to figure out, okay, what would a typical month look like? And the thing that stands out, meals out was not $600. Anyone want to place a guess as to how much he was spending in meals out? Put it in the chat box. Summer, tell me what people are putting in the chat box as a guess of how much he was spending.
Sarah says double to triple that, 1,500.
Very good. Great guesses.
2,000.
It was $1,600 a month.
1,200, 2,000.
$1,000 a month more than he was aware of, which means he ate the $12,000 he needed for his income taxes, literally. Well, after that, things turned around for him because he became aware of where the money was going. And within a few years, he paid down like $80,000 in debt. He was able to get new cars, take the family on a vacation to Europe, all without earning more money. Now, here's a bonus myth. 6. A lot of people think you can create wealth by yourself. You've heard of the term self-made millionaire. I'm telling you that's a fantasy. If you look at billionaires, they do know what they're doing. Warren Buffett did not build Berkshire Hathaway by himself. He had a 50% partner named Charlie Munger. Steve Jobs did not build my Apple computer by himself. If it wasn't for Steve Wozniak, he couldn't have made a computer. And Elon Musk, he doesn't run SpaceX or Tesla. He's got these people to do that. Wealthy people know you don't become wealthy doing it by yourself. And it doesn't matter if you're partnering with your banker, your CPA, a business coach, it almost doesn't matter, but it's not done by yourself. So, as getting back to the real estate, The realtor was a visionary. He found the properties we purchased, and I was nothing more than the execution master. Warren Buffett was a visionary. Charlie Munger helped execute on his vision. But as the execution master, I created wealth because I tied myself to a visionary. So what I say is wealth creation is a team sport, not a solo sport. So, question, answer in the chat box. Did we cover, and I'm sorry I'm speaking so fast. Hopefully you can listen fast, but put your answer in the chat box if you think I covered the 5 things that keep you broke. What's it say, Summer?
Janet says yes. I said you cover 5 things, yes, but you didn't cover all the things probably.
Terrific. All right.
Not sure. You're the expert, says Joanne.
Now, if someone goes to my website, which is wealthonanyincome.com, and they go /TEDx, they'll be able to hear my TEDx talk, and they can get this 9-step roadmap to complete financial choice and philanthropy, which will allow you to donate to the causes that touch your heart. And it's, I don't know, it's like 27 pages explaining these steps. I do have a program you could purchase. It's called Wealth with Purpose. It's like $397, and it's a self-guided program that takes you from wherever you are to wherever you want to be financially. And I want to thank you for being a part of my presentation. If you have a question, if there's something I haven't answered that we don't cover in the next couple minutes, send an email to me. The email's Rennie, my name, at wealthonanyincome.com. And that's my presentation. And I think I did it in 18 minutes because I talk quickly.
He tried to listen quickly, yes.
Yeah. So if anyone has any questions, they want to contradict anything I said, I'm here for you.
Contradictions, come on. I just put in Rennie's link in the chat, his website, his email address, his LinkedIn, and also the free gift. Do you want to say something about the free gift? You said it's the Wealth on Any Income book, 12 Steps to Complete Financial Choice and Philanthropy. You have a challenge.
I don't want to contradict anything. I want to say great presentation, Remy. And I think one of the things that's really important is it's impossible to have wealth without income.
That's correct. Yeah. And I don't count government assistance programs as income. Yeah, people can pay bills with it, but it has nothing to do with creating wealth.
Mm-hmm. Janet has a question.
The question.
Sorry, go ahead.
Got the hand up anyway.
I got the hand up. No contradiction, no question. I just want to say thank you. It's so true of the myths, right? Especially the one about credit card and investing. I think a lot of us are just so hooked up on, I just want to get rid of the debt first. And I get that. Of course, you mentioned good debt and bad debt as well. But you showed a very good example of your experience of how you kind of let the debt kind of continue, but you invested. That was your choice. So that's very important. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And it actually, in my book on page 141, I show if someone just delays 2 years to invest by paying off $6,000 of credit card debt, 30 years later, paying that $6,000 cost them over $170,000 in lost investment earnings. $6,000 versus 170, not a good trade-off.
And there's more questions. Sarah says, Sarah Snyder, in the real estate space, where did you go and learn and find partners?
I went to a lot of networking events, and I knew a bunch of financial planners. Oh, by the way, I should say I was certified as a financial planner, chartered as a life underwriter, and all this financial education did not help me at all in creating wealth personally. But I went to a lot of networking events, met a lot of people, real estate events, and so on and so forth. So, I surrounded myself with other people. And it looks like Joanne's got her hand up.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for this. And I love the way you describe the myths. And the question is how are these things, these myths, these ideas messing up with our attitude, with our mindset?
Well, because society has bought into those myths. like you hear, pay off your credit card debt before you invest. You hear that, and that impacts your attitude like, oh, that must be the right thing to do. Well, guess what? The people who are saying that are not wealthy. I mean, I've helped CPAs through bankruptcy. Just because they know how to do tax returns doesn't mean they know how to grow wealth.
Mm-hmm.
So true. Hey, so basically what you're saying is forget anything what anybody else says, just listen to the people that have succeeded.
It's absolutely right. Follow what works.
People who have walked the walk,
Yes.
not
Oh,
people that just talk the talk.
talking about walking the walk. Someone spoke about walking on fire. And I did that some 30 years ago with Tony Robbins. Weird experience. Walk across 2,000-degree coals barefoot and not get burned. Your mind is very powerful when you put it to use.